Crunch time
with Ryan Kordziel.
It's Crunch time.
What a game! Unbelievable!
This is Kordziel Krunch
With Ryan Kordziel.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kordziel Krunch. Since the Super Bowl began over a half-century ago, fans are constantly debating what the best game, the best play, or the best moment in Super Bowl history has been. But with 51 games to choose from, not all are winners, and Super Bowl V, the first between the NFC and AFC rather than NFL and AFL, is notable for that very reason. The game featured the AFC champion Baltimore Colts against the NFC champion Dallas Cowboys. The Colts, who finished the season 11-2-1, featured players such as quarterback Johnny Unitas, defensive end Bubba Smith, and tight end John Mackey, while the Cowboys featured several iconic names of their own, such as head coach Tom Landry, wide receiver Bob Hayes, the only person to win a Super Bowl and an Olympic gold medal, and tight end Mike Ditka. The game started out as a defensive battle as Cowboys linebacker Chuck Howley intercepted Johnny Unitas and returned it 22 yards to the 46-yard line. Unfortunately for Dallas, a 15-yard holding penalty killed the drive, and the Cowboys settled for a field goal and a 3-0 lead. The first quarter ended as Cowboys quarterback Craig Morton threw a 41-yard pass to Bob Hayes for 6 yards at the 12-yard line. True to form, however, there was a roughing the passer penalty, which gave the Cowboys 6 more yards. The second quarter started with the Cowboys on third down. Morton committed a 15-yard intentional grounding penalty, forcing the Cowboys to settle for a field goal and making the score 6-0. The Colts got a huge break on their next drive as Johnny Unitas threw a deep ball to wide receiver Eddie Hinton. The ball bounced off his hands, then deflected off Cowboys defensive back Mel Renfro, and finally landed in the arms of tight end John Mackey, who ran it 75 yards for the touchdown.
Back to throw again. Sets up. Fires out left side. Incomplete. Taken by John Mackey. It was off the fingertips of the intended receiver. Bounced into the hands of John Mackey, and he goes in for the touchdown.
Colts rookie kicker Jim O'Brien missed the extra point, however, and the score was tied at 6 apiece. The quarter continued with linebacker Leroy Jordan tackling Johnny Unitas and forcing a fumble, which was recovered by the Cowboys at the 28-yard line. This hit knocked Unitas out of the game, and he was replaced by Earl Morrall, who was the Colts quarterback in their Super Bowl III loss to the Jets. Cowboys quarterback Craig Morton threw a 7-yard touchdown to running back Dwayne Thomas to take a 13-6 lead, which they took to halftime.
Rucker is spread to the right. First and goal to go for Dallas. Outside of one play, they have been the superior offensive team today. A fake. The pass to Thomas on the screen. They wipe him out, and Thomas is in for the touchdown.
Things got even worse in the third quarter. Colts return man Jim Duncan fumbled the opening kickoff, and the Cowboys recovered. Dallas drove it all the way to the Colts' 1-yard line, but Colts linebacker Mike Curtis forced a fumble by Dwayne Thomas as he was crossing the line into the end zone, and Duncan was credited with the recovery, despite the fact that Cowboys center Dave Manders was holding the ball when the pile was cleared. The Colts drove down to the Cowboys' 44-yard line, but Jim O'Brien's 52-yard field goal attempt missed short and landed at the 1-yard line. Instead of trying to return or down the missed field goal, which was a legal rule prior to 1974, Mel Renfro allowed it to bounce inside to the 1-yard line where center Tom Good downed it. The Cowboys were forced to punt after 3 plays, where the Colts were supposed to have it inside Cowboys territory. But another 15-yard penalty pushed the Colts back to their 39-yard line. The third quarter ended as Earl Morrall completed a 45-yard pass to running back Tom Nowatzki at the 15-yard line. On the first play of the fourth quarter, Cowboys linebacker Chuck Howley intercepted Morrall in the end zone. Unfortunately for Dallas, the drive resulted in another punt. The Colts got the ball back on their 18-yard line, where a 23-yard pass and another Dallas penalty helped them advance into Cowboys territory. The Colts then called what has been described as one of the weirdest plays in Super Bowl history. Running back Sam Havrilak took the handoff and ran right, trying to set up a lateral pass to Morale. Cowboys lineman Jethro Pugh stormed the backfield and prevented him from throwing the ball, so Havlerack threw to John Mackey. Instead, Eddie Hinton caught it and raced for the end zone. Cowboys defensive back Cornell Green forced a strip sack, but the ball bounced around, landed through the back of the end zone for a touchback, and gave the Cowboys the ball at the 20-yard line. 3 plays later, Morton threw an interception to Colts safety Rick Volk, who returned it 30 yards to the 3-yard line, and the Colts scored on a touchdown by running back Tom Nowatzki to tie the game at 13. With less than 2 minutes to go, the Cowboys started out at the 48-yard line after a punt. On the second play of the drive, Dallas committed a 15-yard holding penalty. Holding penalties were reduced to 10 yards in 1974. On second down, Morton threw a pass that went through the hands of running back Dan Reeves and right into the hands of linebacker Mike Curtis, who returned it 13 yards to the 28-yard line. After 2 more misses, the Colts weren't taking any more chances and sent Jim O'Brien to try a 32-yard field goal, which sailed through the uprights to give the Colts a 16-13 lead.
O'Brien, in his first regular pro-season game, kicked a field goal in the last minute to beat San Diego. He's been slightly erratic at times. He says that is the kick he'll always remember. What about this one? $15,000 riding on this kick for the Colts. 13-13 tie, 9 seconds to go. All right, here you are now. What a fight. And the kick is up. The kick is good. Jim O'Brien with 5 seconds. The Colts lead 16-13.
A last-ditch pass from Morton was intercepted by Jerry Logan as time expired, giving the Colts a 16-13 victory. Super Bowl V is regarded as one of the worst, and possibly the worst, Super Bowl of all time. Despite featuring 10 Hall of Fame players, including future Bears coach Mike Ditka, Hall of Fame Cowboys coach Tom Landry, and longtime Cowboys executive Tex Schramm, the game has been called the Blunder Bowl and the Stupor Bowl for its all-around terrible play. The Most Valuable Player award went to Cowboys linebacker Chuck Howley, despite the fact that Dallas lost the game, and Colts defensive end Bubba Smith refused to wear his Super Bowl ring due to the sloppy play in the game. Nevertheless, it has etched its name in football history, for better or for worse. That'll wrap up this episode of Kordziel Krunch. Join me next time to look back on some more iconic moments in sports history. For Kordziel Krunch, I'm Ryan Kordziel. Thanks for listening.
Kordziel Krunch.
With Ryan Kordziel.
Ryan Kordziel. Crunch time.